Wow, you really can't talk a lot when there's a book on your head. After many requests, I'm going to talk about my cookbook collection. One thing about me is I am very, very passionate about cookbooks. I love to read them. I read them like novels, cover to cover. Do you think there's a book of cookbooks? I want that. So I thought I would give you my cookbook recommendations for if you're gluten-free, vegan cookbook recommendations, gluten-free baking, cake decorating, if you're just like learning to cook or you want to get better at cooking. Because believe it or not, I cook regular. I'm not just a baker. I'm weird. I like both.
I'm weird. I'm a weirdo. I don't fit in.
And then I'm going to do a quick fire round at the end, just as some of my favorites, because they're all so precious. Okay, let's get started. I have tried to mend the chaos that was bringing every single cookbook I have. Oh, I didn't count them. Should I count them? We're at 29. There's more on the floor. That's good, 57. A reasonable number of books of one genre to own. I can't read a cookbook on Kindle or online. I find it so difficult. I need the paper. Big stack of cookbooks, cup of tea, little sunbeam. Okay, so the first category of books we're gonna look at is regular baking, not like gluten-free or vegan or anything like that, just like regular baking. First up is Brave Tart by Stella Parks. This is incredible. She tests everything. She's a writer for Serious Eats, and everything has a very thorough historical and kind of scientific explanation for what's happening when you're cooking, and I love that. It goes through like classic Americana baking, whether that is oatmeal cookies and chocolate cake, stuff like that, chocolate chip cookies, as well as like literally Twinkies and Hostess cupcakes, which is really fun if you like to like fudge around with that type of stuff, you know? Yellow birthday cake, a classic. Cracker Jack. Like we could make a chocolate cake and put Cracker Jack on it. And there's also almost always a gluten-free substitution option, which books never have, so I really appreciate that. And lots of different like mix it up alterations. So like add cherry to your cake, add chocolate to your cake. I love that. It's called Iconic American Desserts. And if that's the type of stuff that you're into, highly recommend. Number 2 is like, oh, I have 3. Oops. Number 2 is this book, Home Baking by Jeffrey Alford and Naomi Duguid. Guide. I don't know if I'm saying it right. At the time, they were a traveling couple, married couple that would photograph and write their books. And you can tell this book is falling apart because I've read it so many times. It goes country to country all over the world and tells you like the favorite baked goods of people. So you have like large batch Italian boule next to Portuguese mountain rye, next to like a salt raised bread from Gotland, cardamom potato roti. And there's little stories throughout it, which you're gonna notice is what I like in a cookbook. It's just beautiful and evocative, and I love this book. I just love it. And then my third, like, it's not really baking, it's like chocolate making, but Sweet and Salty by Lagusta Yearwood. I think I said it right. I know that she gets annoyed when people don't say it right. I love this person, I love this business. It's a feminist anarchist chocolate store in New Paltz, New York, right? Yes. It talks about feminism, it talks about capitalism, it talks about like how to run a business with morality. I just love this book. next in the baking sphere is cake decorating. I don't have a specific book for you, but what I would encourage you to do if you want to get into vintage cake decorating is to buy a vintage cake decorating book. It doesn't matter which one. One by Wilton is ideal, but you could also get one that's like Good Housekeeping, like this one. It's not expensive, you can buy it online, and it's just gonna be so much more comprehensive and accurate than anything modern that you could buy. So that's what I would recommend. You can even buy Wilton magazines, and I think that that's a fine investment if you're looking to get into vintage cake decorating. What more do you need? It tells you all the little tips that you need. It tells you how to do everything. And it smells like a library. Oh my God. I think this one is from a library. No. Riley Starbuck. Thanks, Riley. This one's from a library. This one's from the Peabody Institute. Danvers, Massachusetts. Does this one have a smell? Oh, old book. This is what you want. I get a lot of questions about which gluten-free cookbooks I would recommend to people specifically. I've had celiac disease. I was diagnosed like 5 or 6 years ago, and I learned to cook and bake before that and kind of had to relearn everything that I knew about baking because it was so dependent on the chemicals and the proteins and the gluten, and I understood that, and I had to kind of relearn everything, especially as I became dairy-free, soy-free, like I can't eat a lot of stuff. So my recommendation for a gluten-free cookbook, the best one, America's Test Kitchen. How can it be gluten-free? I know it's a silly title. I've got both of them. I think that they publish them into one unit now. It has baking, it has cookies and cakes and pies, but it also has things like pancakes and like how to bread chicken if you eat chicken. I've read a lot of gluten-free cookbooks that are just like, you make a pad thai with rice noodles, like nothing that I couldn't figure out on my own. These books are the Celiac Bible. It tells you exactly what you're using, why you're using it, what the substitutions are, how they tested each recipe to get to the final product. So much detail, and I need detail, especially in baking. Like, you need to know what you're doing to be successful, I think. I'm very serious today because I'm very serious about cookbooks. Next. My next book is my favorite, like, learn to cook or like learn to improve your cooking book. This is kind of like if you already have salt, fat, acid, heat, and you've learned those things, then oh my God, this book, The Flavor Bible. I don't know why we have to Christianify it, but it's a dictionary. So let's say I've got some things in the fridge. I was like, oh, I've got some fava beans. What goes with fava beans? And I look it up and it says that fava beans are bitter, have a light medium weight, different ways to cook them, that they go well with basil, butter, garlic, lemon juice, and all the different things that it goes well with, and then it's bolded the things that it goes really well with. And then there's little quotes from different chefs talking about how they use that ingredient and how they would incorporate it. It's like, if you're still learning out how to play with flavors, you can just look things up. Mushrooms, go with bacon, go with cream, go with leeks. Apparently there's a vegetarian one. I would like to have that one because we don't eat a lot of meat around here. It's like studying color theory when you're a painter. That's what it's akin to. It's just incredible. I love this book. And finally, probably the biggest part of my collection is vegan and vegetarian cookbooks. That's because I became vegetarian when I was like 10. So I've collected them for a very long time. So I have 2 recommendations for my favorite vegetarian vegan books, and neither of them is specifically vegetarian or vegan, which is kind of funny. The first one is Indianish by Priya Krishna. It came out like a year or 2 ago. Priya used to be on the Bon Appetit channel. She worked at Lucky Peach when Lucky Peach was still going. Incredible. I think there's only 1 recipe for chicken and a couple of fish recipes in here, but otherwise it is vegetarian. And you can sub the butter and milk. There's like butter and milk subs throughout it, you know? It's so good. And she wrote it with her mom, and her mom is a charismatic, like, goals. The recipes are just beautiful. The dal recipe takes like 30 minutes and I make it like every other week. It's so good. Everything is complex but simple, and it's just like has this beautiful story of an Indian family moving to Texas and the way that they can create foods that remind them of home with the ingredients that they have. And like, I just think that it's so interesting. Like, people get really angry about talking about fusion, and I think that fusion is shitty when it's like a white chef mixing two cultures that they don't know about. But when you have a person from one culture or an immigrant arriving in a new place and finding ways to recreate the flavors of their home and flavors that make them feel safe and comfortable with what they have, that is the most interesting food in the world to me. I'm getting so excited. I'm like embarrassed. Okay, so this book is so good. I'm gonna cry. I just love it. That's weird. Why am I upset? I'm a real crier, guys. The other one is more vegetable seasonal centric, and it's 6 Seasons by Joshua McFadden. 6 seasons, go season by season. So like you start in the spring and you just start making recipes until it's spring again and you restart. And it's just beautiful and vegetable centric. It's not specifically vegetarian or even gluten-free, but the parts that include meat or bread or dairy are like accoutrements. So it's easy enough to figure out like substitutions, like GF breadcrumbs for regular breadcrumbs, stuff like that. So those are my 2 vegetarian recommendations. Okay, so this next section is like books that I don't necessarily recommend for you to buy, but I want you to know that I have them. They're cool books. If you're a cookbook nerd, I would get them. But if you're just like looking to cook and you're someone that does not have 57 cookbooks, don't buy it. Don't buy it. Don't listen to me. Okay, so number 1. Wait, I'm gonna do a timer so that it's fun. Okay, I have 2 minutes. 2 minutes? How many books? Okay. I'm gonna give myself 2 minutes. Is that what we use? No, I want something. Okay. Okay, 2 minutes on the clock. So we just talked about Indianish. The like sister book to that, this is very modernized Indian cuisine, but if you're looking for like legit, this book, look how big it is. I think it has over 1,000 pages. No, I'm wrong, it has 800 pages. All over India. It's incredible. I can't talk about it anymore. We wasted 30 seconds. This is the Ferran Adrià family meal book from El Bulli. I bought it when I lived in Spain for a year. I bought it in Spanish. Good job, Lauren. I mean, I can read foods in Spanish, but like, why I do that? Next, this Greek cookbook is incredible. If you're ever looking to buy like a cookbook from another culture and that culture happens to be Orthodox, buy the church cookbook. They will have the best recipes. That's just the truth. Next, Alice B. Tolkis cookbook. Talkless. I always say Tolkis. I always say it wrong. This is Gertrude Stein's gal pal, lover, wife. She kind of is a total jerk in this book and talks about what a jerk her and Gertrude Stein are. But it's amazing. And there's a recipe for hashish brownies, which is great for a bridge club meeting. Love that for you, Alice. This is the 1977 original moose wood cookbook. I found it in the lobby of my building. You know how I love to do that. This is the vegetarian Bible, the text, the only one. Next, Emeril Lagasse. There's a chef in my soup. This is one of my favorite cookbooks from when I was a kid. I was a big Emeril head. Any more Emeril heads out there? Loved Emeril. Bam. Final. White Heat, Marco Pierre White. This is the book that Anthony Bourdain, the photos from this made him want to be a rock star chef. I don't know if that's a good thing, but look at this man. Oh my God. We did it. Sorry. Look at this man. He's beautiful. He's so beautiful. I mean, he's kind of a jerk now, and you can see why this type of thing added to toxic masculine kitchen culture, which I refuse to participate in. We're going past the timer. The timer went off. It's just, anyways. Well, that about wraps it up. I'm gonna go and organize my books again. Fun fact, I did not have a lot of friends in middle school, and I worked in the library at every lunch period, and I love organizing books. I just love it.
I'm weird. I'm a weirdo. I don't fit in.
I feel like I've revealed too much of myself in this episode, and now you know the truth. What are your favorite cookbooks? Do you like cookbooks? Do you use cookbooks? Do you just read blogs? Do you complain about the story beforehand? That is how the blogger makes their money? I used to do that, but now I don't. I'll see you next time.